If you have big goals but keep hitting the same internal wall, listen closely. Hard work will take you far. And when effort stops working, it is not a strategy problem. It is a programming problem. You do not rise to your goals. You elevate to your programming. Inside Outspoken, you'll reprogram the subconscious patterns that drive 95% of your results. And in the process, earn 6 powerful certifications while you do it. Enrollment closes January 31st. If you are ready to stop pushing and start leading from a solid, grounded foundation, join us in Outspoken. Welcome to the Own Your Choices, Own Your Life podcast. I know you are here wanting to change and rewrite your story. You are desiring to step into the impact that you know you are here to create. I am here to guide you with the proven tools and strategies used by myself and our speakers to support you in taking radical responsibility in your life and learning how to own your choices to change your story. My name is Marsha Van Weinsberg. I am a storytelling business coach, master NLP trainer, speaker, podcaster, and 7 times published author. My clients have found freedom and purpose from overcoming their shame stories and learning how to share them with the world. I am so grateful you are here. Let's get started. Welcome back to the show. I am in my office, which is still a crazy mess because I've been purging everything, but I'm in my stand-up desk. And it's so appropriate to share this story with you because I recently shared a very vulnerable story on Instagram about money. And money is such a topic that can stir up a lot, right? It has a lot of different meaning, has a lot of different things that we associate with it. And one of my mentors was challenging me to dig in even deeper to be able to share it. So here we are. New desk, new office, new microphone, perfect time to share it. It is like the first month of 2026, right? So we're nearing the end of January. And about maybe the end of October, early November, I was in a space where I felt like so many things were not working last year. They were working. I was just doing a lot of new things. So my nervous system had to catch up to what we were doing. Yet there was a point in October where I actually had my highest expense month, my lowest revenue month. I had thousands of dollars in outstanding client payments that were failed payments. That's what happens as you continue to grow. And then I also had thousands of dollars that were misplaced somewhere out in the ethers, and my payment processor couldn't find them. And so I was surrounded by all of this, like there were sales, I didn't have any of them. And I was feeling this feeling of like, what is happening? Like this is a level of contraction that I don't know what to do with. And it was uncomfortable. And I think this is an important piece of the story to share is when we talk about money stories is it's not necessarily about the dollar amount. It's about how do you feel about money? What's your relationship with it? Because if you can't feel safe when it looks like nothing is happening, when you don't have the money coming into your account, then you're not automatically going to feel safe when you have a big sale come through. And so I shared in this post, and I mean, I think I had a lot of feedback and comments about it that I think are important to share. Over the last 5 years, almost 6, which is wild, when the pandemic started and I lost my job overnight, I have worked in roughly, like as a registered kinesiologist, 27 years. For probably 30 years, I made within $10,000 of the total. Even if it went up, I was still around that same amount. And so that was my set point. That was what my subconscious felt safe having. And yet I kept thinking like, I do want more. I do see that, like I see other people doing it, but maybe it's not for me and I don't understand. It's the story that you're telling yourself about it. So this is important because when the pandemic happened, I took as minimal amount from the government as possible, yet I still took some. And over the last probably 3 years, I had been audited 3 times and had a very large sum to pay back. And during that time, here I am building a business, but I owe this over here. So even if I'm having success in my business, it feels like I can't share that. That's not appropriate to do. And I'm playing around with that message in my mind. Don't worry. But this is where I was. I was end of October, early November 2025. Nothing feels like it's working at all. I'm getting ready to walk into hosting our first live event, the biggest thing I've ever done. And I was feeling massive contraction everywhere, like fear. There was fear. There's no question. And it was how I was feeling about money. Yet I have been writing this sentence and this statement for probably 2+ years, that how much I generate each month by what I get to do and how I'm continuing to change my family's financial future by following my heart, purpose, passion, impact, ripple effect. And I'm really wanting to help others. I was practicing every day, seeing the version of myself that at the end of December, I could log on to our government site and see a zero balance. And to some people, that might seem like no big deal at all. But to me, in a space of massive contraction, feeling like nothing is working, visualizing this zero balance didn't make any logical sense. Yet I kept focusing in that, no, this is happening. And this is how I feel. This is what it looks like, what I see. And the message I kept saying literally to the universe is when this money comes in, because I know it's coming, it's on its way, I can respect it, I treat it well, and I will pay down that debt, and that will feel good. So I was seeing it before I could see it, right? You have to see it as a result before it actually happens, because your subconscious has to believe that you would be safe receiving that kind of money. And as a result, I swear, from doing this work and from being consistent for years, I didn't just sit on my ass and manifest. That's not how it looked like. And as being consistent, I actually, in the last 7 weeks of the year, ended up probably creating more than double what I did in my full-time job before, and was able to help a lot of people. And yes, I did see a zero balance on my CRA. That is what it looks like, is how can you see it before? So what I just want to talk to you about is what is your relationship with money? I wanted to share it from this lens. How do you feel about it? Are you constantly talking about we never have it, we never have enough? That doesn't work that way for us. Your subconscious is listening. It's listening to you. So it's not as simple as I want more. It needs to be specific. Can you see yourself as the person who can hold it, who can have it, that you trust yourself to have it? Because money doesn't respond to effort alone. It doesn't. It's literally responds to your identity, how you show up, how you share, your safety to hold it, and your subconscious feeling this is familiar. I trust myself to be here. Because your income, what you desire, will never outpace the version of who you are. It just doesn't work that way. You might have a lump sum come to you, and I do not know the stat. I actually just looked it up recently. Something like 60%, 70% of people who win money actually lose it in a very short period of time. It has to come down to the identity and being that version of yourself. So my question for you is, what is your story around money? What is your relationship to it? Do you cringe every time you have to open up your bank account? Do you cringe when you have to write or pay a bill or pay it online? Do you cringe when it's you can't pay the bill in full? How can you reframe that? Because it really does come down to the relationship that you have with it. I write on all of my bills. I write on all of my pages, thank you for a decreasing amount in my bills. Thank you for this. This is where I'm going. I could still look at it and go, okay, well, I still have debt. Well, yeah, I do. And there's no logical reason. It's not an analytical reason why I've created what I've done after being 30 years and almost the same income. So it's not about asking how. If you're asking how, your analytical mind is trying to think your way around it. Instead, can you get into the energy of the version of you who already has it? And I know the first question is going to be, but what if I've never had it before? And that was me. right? Like I had never had it before. I'd never created this before. It didn't even exist. So if you don't have it, I want you to be able to think about who can you get into proximity to learn from. Now, the beautiful thing, you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to books, there are so many tools and techniques that you can use now to learn about money that you didn't know before. And so that's the first thing is like, what is that money story that you have that you know isn't serving you? It's not serving you because it's also blocking you from what's available. And then that blocks you from who you get to help. So, what is that money story? And secondly, what would it feel like to rewrite it in a different way? And how can you feel in your body as if that is already done? The identity of the person who has that, how does she show up and share? Because that's where I got to. I was like, okay, there was a time where I was afraid to even open up my accounts, being totally transparent, open up my bills. And I was like, okay, but the version of me who's building this business that I say that I want, she's found a way to get okay with her nervous system to do that. And now it's neutral. It's just neutral. It's just a number on a screen. That's what it is. So I recently worked with a client who was in a space of, she has such a big heart. We attract so many people who they really have a huge heart of what she wants to do and what she wants to create. And I could hear it in her. I said, do you see yourself as the version who is actually creating, like abundantly creating money from doing the work that you're doing? She's like, well, I want to. And I'm like, but do you? And she said, no, not yet. I don't know why. And so I said, are you open to working through that? And she said, absolutely. Within about 20 minutes, we were able to connect and tap her into the version of her who is able to show up in that way and has that identity. She could see herself in the end result. The emotions came to the surface. She was like, oh my God, what is this? I'm like, this is your internal representation. We're changing your internal representation for being the version of you who can hold it. So it's not about like working harder, pushing harder. Yes, action is required. But it really is this piece about like receiving and softening and aligning yourself to it, seeing yourself as the version of you who can have it, hold it, treat it with respect, and be able to like pay it in different ways. Like even right now, being able to have team that I am able to help to pay to do this work lights me up so much. And just this past week, like we just kicked off our current round of Outspoken, and you can still join us till the end of January. And I've brought in support in the back end. And I logged in and I looked and I'm like, oh my gosh, all the folders are set up, all the contracts are done. Like all of that was done. And I sat there and just like anchored into the support of receiving that support. And it felt so good, like so, so good. I don't rush those moments. I don't rush them. I anchor in them. The highest day of my revenue last year was the day I was actually off. So come literally out of nowhere. And I turned and I said to Brad, I said, you know what? The cool thing is now I'm actually off and I have support in the back end that's helping today. So it's safe to receive support. See, it wasn't about like, oh, I had a big sale. It was like, for me, I anchored, I was safe to receive support. And by receiving support, we can actually go further. So you see the difference? It's not about the money. It's how I feel about the money and what it allows me to do. That has changed everything. So I would love for you to write down like what is one story you are done with that you are changing, and how can you like rewrite that in a way that you want to believe. You might feel like I'm not that version yet, but we want to speak in terms of a bridge, and that's where we're going. So as I share, for 2 years, I wrote down that this is what I was generating at every month. What I would write down 2 years ago was like, I am becoming this version of her. I am becoming this version of myself. This is the version I am becoming. So it was all a process of becoming. That's the bridge. The bridge is to support our subconscious mind who is like, how are we going to do that? I don't understand. We want to speak to it. And then can you get into the energy of it is already done? What would it feel like? What would you see, feel, and hear? If you evoke emotions within yourself, great. You're on the right track. That's absolutely the right track. And can you speak it, write it, see it, feel grounded, right? No pushing, no proving, no attachment to when, but become that version of you. And with that repetition, you will be rewiring your subconscious. It is safe for you to receive money, and you can do incredible things with it in the process. So I would love to know how this lands for you. I wanted to share this piece of it because it really spoke to me, and it was a message that even my mentor was like, you need to share this. And knowing that as long as you're becoming this version of you, it is safe to become her or him. How do you show up in that energy? How do you lead yourself every single day? Entrepreneurship, just speaking to entrepreneurship right now, it's not about pushing harder and doing more. It really isn't. It's like, how can you become that version of yourself? It takes work, it takes repetition, and it's very, very possible. But when you start to see money differently and you build a different relationship with it, instead of forcing and pushing, you allow it to come in, and it is safe for you to hold it. And I'll tell you, when that happens and so many things change, I'm just anchoring in it. I'm so grateful, and it's possible. If it's possible for me, it's possible for you. It absolutely is. It's just getting down and dirty with the work on a consistent basis. And that is when the whole story changes. So I would love to know how this lands. Again, it's not about the dollar amount. It is about, how do you feel about money, and how could you feel better? I hope it lands. Have an incredible day. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Own Your Choices, Own Your Life. If you love this episode, I invite you to tag me on social media with your takeaways or share it with a friend. Please, if you feel called, take 30 seconds to leave a 5-star review, and I will be forever grateful. Until next time, remember, when you own your choices, you truly own your life.